She hadn't filed taxes since her divorce, and he hadn't filed taxes since 2016. Then came a baby and a mountain of IRS stress. Hi, I'm Jeff, Tax Rescue CPA, and I want to tell you how we helped Sarah and Duncan turn tax chaos into tax peace and stability. Sarah went through a divorce in 2021, and like a lot of couples, her ex-husband had always handled the taxes. So when the marriage ended, she just didn't file. She simply ignored it. And on top of that, that year in 2021, Sarah was self-employed, so there were no taxes being withheld. So this meant one thing: there was a huge tax bill waiting. And then in 2022, Sarah met Duncan, and he was a great guy by all accounts, except for one thing: he hadn't filed taxes since 2016. When their first baby arrived, they looked at each other and they realized, you know what? We need to get our tax house in order. And that was when they reached out to Tax Rescue CPA. They were overwhelmed. Duncan was getting notices from the state for old tax debt, and they feared that what they owed the IRS may be unmanageable. And the penalties and interest, they knew those were growing each and every day. But the truth is, this kind of situation is more common than you think, and there is a path forward. Here's what we did for Sarah and Duncan. First, we filed every single missing tax return, going all the way back to 2016. Then we made sure their most recent returns reflected the refunds that they were actually due. Next, once all the returns were filed, we started to deal with the amounts owed. So starting with the IRS, we set up an installment agreement for an amount they could actually afford each month. Then we negotiated with the state on Duncan's back taxes. And finally, we negotiated with the IRS to get over $2,500 of penalties waived. So where are they now? Well, today they're caught up. Their federal taxes are on a manageable payment plan. All of their filings are caught up, and they're expecting next year's refund to wipe out the remainder of the back tax debt. Now, best of all, they don't live in fear anymore, afraid to go to the mailbox, and no more anxiety every time the phone rings. At Tax Rescue CPA, this is what we do. We help good people fix tax messes. We do this without judgment, without gimmicks, and without all the pressure. Whether it's unfiled tax returns, IRS debt, or state tax troubles, there's a way through it. We'll walk it with you. If you're in a similar spot, or you've been putting this off for years, don't wait. Reach out today at taxrescuecpa.com. Let's put your tax problem behind you once and for all. I'm Jeff, Tax Rescue CPA. Thanks for watching, and remember, no tax problem is too big when you've got the right help. Who's doing your taxes?